Now, it's time to head to Stroud in Gloucestershire, where I had the opportunity to attend an Older Drivers Forum event today. We've come down from Warwick now, and here we are in Gloucestershire and the town of Stroud, where we're meeting Nigel Lloyd-Jones and various members of the Older Drivers Forum. Gloucestershire is a pioneering county in the facilities laid on for safer driving into old age. So let's go and talk to a few people and find out exactly what's going on and why it's so important.
Well, good morning. I'm Nigel Lloyd-Jones. I'm co-lead of the Older Driver Forum for Gloucestershire. And in these times when there is so much confusion, what can make a difference is communities coming together. And we've created an event today where a community has come together, a road safety community, all focused on older drivers. Now, this initiative initially started in Gloucestershire following the death of my mother. And this is something that we decided to do to create a positive legacy. She died in a collision in a vehicle driven by an elderly relative. So what we are trying to do is to convey and give information about how to keep driving safely for longer. That is our core mission, and very important to say, because people often think, oh, you're trying to take older drivers off the road. No, we want to give them information and advice on how they can keep driving safely for longer, but also how to plan for when it is time to retire from driving.
Hi, my name is Robert Pepper. I am Chief Observer for Gloucestershire Institute of Advanced Motorists.
Give me 3 good reasons why an older person should consider an assessed drive.
We get a lot of impressions from older drivers that it's very stressful driving. So by undertaking one of our courses, they can reduce the stress levels terrifically. They can increase their powers of observation. That's another point. And if you increase the observation, it gives you more time to make decisions. It makes you a safer driver on the road, and you can keep your licence longer.
So I'm Matt Fellows, and I'm the Chief Executive of Age UK Gloucestershire.
What's your interest in this initiative today?
So our vision is to make Gloucestershire the best county in which to grow older, and there are multiple facets to that, from overcoming social isolation and loneliness through to supporting older people with the cost of living crisis and health inequality. But actually also a big chunk of that's about raising awareness of older people about how safe they are, about how the opportunities that exist for them to better understand, but also the opportunities for them to connect with organisations who can support them to make the best decisions for them and their families.
Specifically, how do you help with driving?
So we work closely with Gloucestershire Older Drivers Forum and with Gloucester Older People's Association to raise the awareness of how challenging and how much challenge there can be with the safety of older drivers, but also trying to support older drivers' families too, to enable them to engage with the older person, whether that be a father, mother, grandparents, to try and engage them to be able to make really sensible, pragmatic decisions about how safe it is for them to continue driving, and whether they can be engaged in assessments, or whether actually they can be supported through their own self-assessments that they can do as a result of support with the Drivers Forum.
David Goldsmith.
Joan Goldsmith.
David, just tell us your story.
Well, 31 years ago, when I was 48 years of age, I had serious glaucoma. And lots of eye operations and that sort of thing over the years. And I knew that at some stage it was quite likely that I would not be able to drive anymore. And fortunately, for all of that time, up till this year, I have continued to pass the DVLA field tests. And so I was able to keep driving, keep working, and do all the rest of the things that I wanted to do. But this year, what I had regarded as inevitable did happen. I failed the DVLA field test, and my licence disappeared overnight.
I think for me, we had prepared in a way. We knew it would be inevitable. It does come, absolutely sort of in one day. So we've already decided about selling cars, buying another one, and you are an incredible navigator. So instead of falling asleep when I was driving, which you used to do, you know, take on the role, and you helped me hugely with navigation, and he's quite happy to be passenger in a taxi.
My name's Paul Farrell. I'm a driving instructor. I work for Driving and Mobility. So Driving and Mobility is Bristol based, but we're part of a much larger network. With respect to the older driver, one scheme that we've recently started is called the Fitness to Drive, and that's an alternative to prosecution. Maybe if an older driver has had an accident or an incident on the road, there's the option for that driver to, if the police consider it appropriate, to either have an assessment as opposed to be prosecuted. Invariably, the driver would come for assessment. That's a medically based assessment. We hope to support the driver with driving, and that's often the case. But if we see serious difficulties, we may need to consider adaptation. May actually need to advise them to stop driving, but it's considered much more appropriate for an older driver, or an older driver with disabilities, maybe a driver that's using adaptations.
It's been absolutely fantastic. We've had all our partners here attending. We've had some brilliant networking between them. We've had some very interesting conversations with people. We feel this has been a hugely valuable thing to have done. So we're absolutely thrilled.
Next steps then?
Next steps. In a week's time, at 10 o'clock, we will be running another of our community webinars. And these have been hugely popular. And I can give you a preview that next week also there will be a very important announcement coming from the Police Crime Commissioner about a new initiative for older drivers being trialled here in Gloucestershire.
And that's the end of the programme and the end of our 2022 Week of Action. Many thanks to everyone who helped with all the events held during the week. Thanks to our partners, and thanks to you for supporting and watching. Don't forget to continue following our social media channels. We're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram and YouTube. Like and share our messages if you can, and post your own road safety messages with the hashtag ProjectEDWARD. We'll be announcing plans for our 2023 campaign later this year. Make sure you join the newsletter list on the Project Edward website to get this information as soon as it's released. So, thank you very much from everybody here on the Project Edward team. It's goodbye and thanks for watching. See you next year.